interfering with MPP constituency elections picked up by police. As Joy News confirmed, 3 more who stormed polling stations in security uniforms have now been put behind bars on the orders of a court today.
The Ghana Police Service is capable of providing absolute security for this election. So we don't want to entertain any other form of security at the police station.
We're live on the ground where police, they have been warning they will not cede the authority to any other security agency.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone and Prime Insurance. It is emerging tonight more persons posing as national security operatives have been interfering with ongoing constituency elections of the governing New Patriotic Party. Yesterday, police arrested 2 men who were seen in full security uniforms with sidearms at a polling station. We're just confirming today that just today 2 more have been arrested at the Yawaso North Constituency Voting Center. In fact, the police have also just been confirming that 3 of these individuals have now been placed behind bars on the orders of a court. The police have been asserting the authority as a sole agency with the jurisdiction to police elections in the country, in sharp contrast to what used to be the case that led, if you recall, to the Yawaso West Wuogon by-election violence and the many bloody examples in the 2020 elections. Listen to the Greater Accra Regional Police Commander DCOP Idi Lansa Seidu speaking to my colleague Parker Wilson.
So if you are a security organization and you find yourself here, you are an unwanted person.
We're talking about national security, sir.
We have made it clear to the party officers that the Ghana Police Service is capable of providing absolute security for this election. So we don't want to entertain any other form of security at the police stations.
I see. So the men, how many men did you arrest today? Those passed from national security?
Four guys were picked up.
Today?
Yes, this morning.
And then yesterday too, I know that about 2 guys were picked up at Okankwe South.
Yes.
Do we know the status of investigation of those 2 persons?
We are taking care of them at the appropriate level.
So they are still in your custody?
Yes.
So going forward, we have tomorrow, Sunday and Monday, persons who are from national security wanting to perhaps be at the voting grounds. What will be your words to them, sir?
If you are a delegate, and you are with the national security or whatever setup, come in the form of a civilian and vote and go away. If you come like us standing here, we will take care of you. Because this election is the Ghana Police Service who has been mandated to provide absolute security for the elections. And we are not going to entertain counter security on the ground.
Because yesterday it was in the news. I mean, I captured a man in that uniform taking part of the voting process. So nobody should do that going forward.
Absolutely. If you are a delegate, come in the form of a mufti and do what you are supposed to do. Nobody will unmask you. But if you want to wear a behind and any uniform and come in, either to intimidate or obstruct, take care of it.
Well, the police have 2 statements out, one very latest in the last few minutes. But let's track back to the first arrest that were made yesterday. My colleague Kojo Brace in the studio with me. Kojo, so let's start from yesterday where the first 2 were arrested. Who were these?
So one was John Eselban and the other one was Enoch Kwame Bosompem.
Okay, and from what we understand, they were picked up at the Okankwe South constituency,
Yes,
where voting was taking place. Did the police explain why they were picked up?
they said they appeared at the station wearing clothing that created the impression as though they were police officers.
Okay, and if you read the police statement, the police is very emphatic, though, and I've heard many people suggest that one of them, our cameras captured, actually voting. The police in this statement is absolutely categorically clear that, quote, the two suspects are not police officers.
Sure.
Meanwhile, they are in the custody for investigations to continue. Fast forward to today, the police have just given us an update in the last few minutes.
Sure. According to them, they arraigned these two suspects in court today or before court today, and they have been remanded into police custody to reappear on the 10th of May. But in the same statement, they gave another update that another suspect was later picked up, and he is in the person of Ebenezer Paintsel. He's also been remanded into police custody to reappear on the 10th of May.
Okay, so in other words, the police official statements recount 3 arrests.
3 arrests, yes.
But we just had there's possibly as a 4th person that the Greater Accra Regional Police Commander is also confirming.
Sure, because there are more elections going on in other constituencies. So we expect that this 4th person was arrested in the other constituency. We are yet to get details from our colleague Parker anyway.
Let's confirm that, because Parker is joining me right now. Parker, thanks for joining us. Which of the polling stations are you right now?
Well, Evans, I am currently at the also North constituency, where precisely the mother and child community school, where the constituency is holding its executive election.
And give us an update on the latest arrest made. Where you are, have you seen any of these individuals dressed in security uniform?
Evans, this morning I saw about 3 persons dressed in the national security uniform, perhaps. They were parading around, trying to also assess other security. So, well, I looked on, but later I realized that the police who are in charge have picked them up. I inquired why they are picking them up, and my information was that they've had instruction to get them to the regional office of the Ghana Police Service. So shortly after that, the regional commander himself also came around trying to have a better appreciation of the elections that's going on within the Greater Accra region. And I asked him whether indeed these persons were arrested, and he confirmed to me that 4 persons who were posing as national security officers have been picked up this morning and currently in his custody.
I mean, that offers some clarity. So this 4 is just today?
Just today. This 4 is just today, this morning. I saw 3, but later when I asked the police, they said that there were actually 4 in number, and all the 4 were picked up and currently at the regional office of the Ghana Police Service in Accra.
Oh, okay, so what this means, Brace, is that we actually will have on our hands 7 cases.
3 from yesterday, 4 from today.
Okay. Parker is still with me. Parker, yesterday you saw this gentleman also in similar apparel at one of the polling stations. Where exactly was it? Describe him, and did he come there with a weapon? Was he armed?
This man wasn't armed. I didn't see any kind of firearm with him, but he was in the company of the Member of Parliament for the area, that is Okankwe South constituency MP, Dakwa Newman. And he was seen, or we captured him, whilst the MP was also going through the process and casting his ballot during the election. So that actually triggered questions from the top hierarchy of the Ghana Police Service. I personally received calls from the top security capos in the country trying to confirm whether the man is a police officer. But I indicated to them that he wasn't a police officer. So later, it was established that he was posing as a national security officer and in the company of the Member of Parliament for the area. So the Kaneshi Divisional Command instructed that he should be picked up and taken to the Kaneshi Divisional Office. And so I was there when he, together with another colleague of his, were picked up into the bucket of the police van and drove them out of the venue to the divisional police office. So that was the information or the situation at the time, because many had thought that he was a police officer. Per investigation, they concluded that he wasn't a police officer.
And this individual in question, our cameras also captured him voting in one of the
Yeah, our
booths.
cameras captured him live, and Evans, at the time he was voting, we were live on television at the time because the focus for us was on the member of parliament who had also come to participate in the process. But unknowingly to us, he also was captured in the process, and that was where we realized that someone posing as a national security is engaging in the voting process. I personally inquired from some of the delegates at Okankwe South. They confirmed to me that this said man is a polling station chairman and is the reason he has the opportunity to go through the process and equally cast his ballot in favor of whoever he wants to vote for.
So he's a polling station chairman who came to the scene there, the polling station posing a national security operator. Parker, clarify for me also, today the individuals you saw who now have been also picked up, were they armed?
Evans, I saw one of them with a sidearm. I saw three. I personally saw three of them, and one had a firearm by the side. So he was the only person I noticed. Well, I couldn't check with the police whether the other two equally had firearms with them, but the one I can confirm that I saw him with firearms.
The police you've been speaking to on the ground, they've been very clear about the processes they've put in place to guard the centers. But we're also learning tonight from and the police officers are confirming that many of the people they've arrested so far are all party executives.
That's correct. Evans, yesterday, the constituency organizer of Okankwe South constituency actually was the one leading the charge with the struggle with the police during the chaotic scene or the confusion that we saw on our television and we listened on our airwaves. Now, this young man has been arrested, and the warning is that going forward, all constituency executives who might perhaps be deviant or misbehave towards the police will not be spared. The police is expecting that these constituency executives work hand in hand with the Ghana Police Service to ensure law and order at the various constituencies.
You don't come here. All other people who are not wanted, they will be politely to leave. And the implications of any actions they may take, which is infraction of the law. So we're doing this engagement first before taking action. Okay. That's exactly what you said.
Okay, now finally, one would ask that yesterday at Bobwashi, it was a chaotic scene. How is the police seeking to ensure there is peace and order? Is there an assurance that here at Odoko there will be peace and order?
It will. It will. You cannot have absolute election without some sort of infraction. It's a human institution. But however, as you saw, 4 arrests were made currently at Accra region, and action is being taken. You'll be surprised to know that most of them were party executives.
Right. And that's a police chief there responsible for the elections on the ground where Parker is right now. And if you're just joining us, Parker, stay with me because the police have adopted some fresh measures, including now body searching people who are coming to the polling stations. We'll talk about that pretty shortly. But if you're just joining us, we can confirm that a total of seven individuals are now currently in the grips of the police, accused of posing off as national security operatives, coming to the MPP constituency polling centers in security uniform. We confirm one of them has a sidearm. 3 of them have currently been placed behind bars on the orders of a court. They've been remanded now. They'll be reappearing later in May as the prosecution have now begun in earnest. 4 additional individuals have all been picked up just today, and the police command has confirmed that. The police, they've been very emphatic to state that they will not cede the authority to any other agency. Professor Kwesi Ening joins us on the telephone line right now with thoughts on this. Prof, this reminds us all of Yawaso West Wogon by-elections, but it appears to me that the approach is now different. Already, 3 of the people arrested have already been placed before court and remanded. Today, 4 more have been arrested, and the police are categorical. They will not see this space to any other agency. Your reaction?
Leadership in any organization or in any organization does matter. Principled leadership matters. And I think that is what we are seeing. This is not just about policing. This is about principled policing, responding to a canker that we've encouraged, we've lied about, we've played the ostrich. Evans, vigilantism in Ghana, or the use of violence for particular political ends, I've argued consistently, has become a currency in our political dispensation. Illegal, intimidating, sowing fear, and can only be quashed when we use the law. And I think what has happened in the last couple of days gives me a lot of hope. Precisely because violence is a currency, and those who manifest and use it to serve particular ends and particular individuals benefit immensely. So I'm hoping that the police investigation, while the legal process goes on, uses a network methodology to say, who are these people? Who funded them? Where did they get their guns? Where did they get the uniform? Where do they get their authority from? So that we can once and for all uproot this canker that is becoming a threat and a danger to our very existence as a nation. But I'm not surprised at all. If we don't stop this, it's going to become much worse. And I've said it, from June 2023, if we don't stop this, it's going to get much worse. Because the allure of the prize that the victor of 2024 will have access to means that we are going to see more violence. But I believe and I trust that Dr. Dampare and his team, backed by the judicial system, will bring this under control, or can bring this under control.
I remember after the Ayawaso West Wagon bloody incident, and then, of course, the related incident in 2020, when we came in, we saw a lot of agitations. Yourself campaigned for it. You went before the commission. And then it appeared that this vigilante problem, after the passage of that law, had sort of surfaced. It does appear from what we're hearing, well, the police are doing investigations into this, that it may have just gone underground. It may have just gone underground.
It just went underground because, if you remember, the day His Excellency the Presidency spoke about banning or using the legal process, to stop the vigilante, my argument that night, I think with you, was that because we have very little experience in demobilization and reintegration, it was critical that we got support from the UN in doing this. First, in terms of the actual numbers, what their skills are, what number of arms are in the system, the types of clothing, the command infrastructure, their funding, all those things. Now, the law was passed, the short commission report came out, and then we got this terribly shoddy way. That basically said, they've been disbanded. A peace agreement was signed with all the hula baloo and the species around it. So I, for one, have never been convinced that this has gone out. That what we are actually seeing is that they've gone underground, they've reformed, realigned, outsourced their skill set into other economic ventures. Small-scale mining, the selling of Zamba, the charcoal trade, the provision of protection, playing conflict resolution roles. So in the report that we did in 2020, all these things are listed with the name of new organizations across the country. Okay, so we need a bolder approach, a more honest, grounded decision that says such action pose existential threat first to the political system and subsequently to the state as a whole. Because people can easily recruit these guys for other activities. Where do they get the guns from? Where did they get national security? Uniforms from. I mean, there are some harsh questions that we need to ask. And I think as Ghanaians, we have a right to some answers.
I mean,
So this is just the tip of an iceberg.
and very finally, in the current case you're talking about, a number of them came to the scene posing as national security operatives. One of them had a sidearm. Does that reinforce what came up at the commission, that some of these individuals may have been drafted actually into the national security?
Well, but they haven't gone through the established procedures. And therein lies the challenge, Evans, that the security apparatus has become so nebulous that it's one of the few institutions, possibly, that is easy to send in, sort of political affiliates. You've seen the problem that we had in Masses when Major General Edward Manfo took over his position as the new national security coordinator. We've seen Mr. Kandapa having to keep some people out of the national security, framework. Even the challenge here is that do we need a national security secretariat that also serves both as the analytical arm and an operational arm? And I think it's this nebulous relationship that we need to clarify. My argument consistently is that we need the secretariat and the council to provide leadership, strategic leadership, and when decisions and operational actions must be undertaken, it goes to the parent institutions that are also members of the council. So, for example, if we needed law enforcement, presence at these elections, then it is the remit of the Ghana Police Service. If they cannot do it alone, they will then call for support from immigration, from customs, in the worst case scenario in the Ghana Armed Forces. Okay, so that the council itself does not directly have operatives, armed, nebulous, going around intimidating law-abiding citizens of this country and disgracing the terminology national security. That is why we have a national security strategy document that seeks to locate the provision of security within the rule of law and the respect for the fundamental human rights of Ghanaians. Those things cannot be separated from the functions of the council and from its.
Prof, I'm grateful for your time on this developing story. That's Professor Kwesi Ening, the security analyst, walking us through what we're learning tonight. Police confirming in total, police confirmed 3 and an additional 4 people arrested today, all confirmed now by the police. 3 of them have now been remanded to reappear later. They're behind bars now on the orders of the court. 4 are just being picked up also today, all of them posing as national security operatives in uniform. Some of them we spotted with sidearms. Parker is so with me, who's been following this. Parker, in the wake of the disturbances we saw yesterday at the MPP constituency elections, we are learning that the police, they are adopting new strategies, including thorough body searches when you're approaching the polling station.
According to the police, no more surprises. So for the various constituencies now, what they do is that the delegates will have to go through about 2 security checkpoints before gaining access to the voting center. And for each security checkpoint, they go through thorough scrutiny. The thorough screening, they search your body, they also check whether you are accredited to be there. They want only delegates to be at the voting center. If you are not a delegate, you have no business at the voting center. So these are some of the security strategies the police has adopted in ensuring law and order going forward.
When you plan, you always go back to revise your operation to suit the demands. We have information that this constituency has a record of, violence in the past, or it's a hotspot. So we decided to plan accordingly by taking security measures proactively. As you can see, we've deployed to secure the venue where the election will take place. And even before coming at the junction, you saw our motorbikes also deployed. And then combat teams from the Accra region and then the National Operation Department working together to ensure that there's also orderly parking of cars, there's good access, and also working with the chairman of the committee here, and the two municipal chief executives are also here, the electoral officers are also here, and the MPs. We are now inviting the coordinators.
Okay.
So what we want to do is engagement.
So that's the police's strategy there in the wake of the disturbances that we saw. Let's bring in the Greater Accra MPP Regional Secretary, who is joining us on the telephone line right now, Daniel Parker. Mr. Parker, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Good evening to all listeners. Good evening to you too.
So the police have issued a statement confirming that they've arrested 3 people. Today, they've also confirmed they've arrested 4 more, making a total of 7 individuals. They were posing as national security operatives, but it's been established that some of them are, party people. Some of them had come with the polling station with sidearms. Is the party officially engaging another security other than the police to guard the elections?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me take this opportunity to greet all listeners. Well, the party has advised that we have engaged the police. It is only the police who is operating for the New Patriotic Party in this our constituency annual delegates conference. We have not engaged any other security, but it's only the police.
So surprised then to hear that these individuals are at the polling station. One of them was seen actually voting.
Well, yes, I've got to know about it. It was yesterday that I got to know a certain young man has been arrested. But the question that I keep asking is that, is it wrong for you to put on a black attire? Is it wrong to put on a black trousers and a black top? That somebody will say you dress black, and so you are a police personnel? This is a question I keep posing to all journalists that have had the opportunity to talk to. I think it is wrong. We have engaged the police. Today I am in deep blue, and the top is also deep blue. If I decide to put on a jacket, it is my right. It is my attire. If I am having weapons that looks like something that will be a threat to life, then the police have a question. But then, if I'm just putting on that black attire and I'm putting on a jacket, I don't think the police have any right to arrest me.
Today, those who were arrested, one of them at least had a sidearm, came to the polling station with a sidearm dressed the same way you described. That definitely is alarming, and the police must intervene.
Well, yes. Until we find out whether it's working with any of the security apparatus, nobody can claim that he is just an ordinary person. Let us also find out from the police who that individual is. There are people in this country who use sidearms. But then during processes like conferences like this, we don't expect a party person to go to a conference center with a sidearm. It is only the police that we expect that when they go to such conferences, they will carry their arms. So if truly the person is a party person and doesn't abide by the rules of the game, then the police have every right to arrest the person.
These individuals, are they members of your party's internal security arrangement?
Well, Greater Accra, for what I know, we have not engaged any security apparatus apart from the police. And then we've given warning to all party people. I keep on doing that any opportunity that I get on radio. That, look, if you are a party person, we have engaged the police. Don't bring in anybody called Macho Man. Don't bring in anybody called Tag. We don't want it. We believe in the police. We trust in the police. We have given them assignment, and I'm sure they will deliver.
Thank you very much. That is the Greater Accra Regional Secretary of the MPP, Daniel Parker, France. affirming his support for the police in the decision to apprehend these individuals. As you know now, as we've been confirming, they have now been placed before court, 3 of them, and all of them been remanded now. 4 of them have been picked up today to a total of 7 in all. What are your own thoughts on this? You want to send me a WhatsApp or go into our many social media platforms and let's continue the conversation. 055 11 997. Ghana Connect starts